Here we go, time now for the news review, and it was intentional to do that before the news review. Play that song by Mensa. It always gets me thinking whenever we play it. Them get eyes, but them know they see. Them get heart, but them know they feel. Them get mind, but them know they think. Don't worry, my blunt thoughts haven't started yet. They'll start later. But it always gets me thinking about African misleadership. You know? You should listen to that song by Mensa. It's been a long while since, Mensa dropped anything. You would usually find him doing some collabo with One Love the Kubolo. But these songs are the deeper songs I feel artists should be doing rather than all the, you can do the bumpy beat bang thing, but apart from that, what's the sense in your song? And those are one of the songs that I feel in recent times really have a message. Our leadership, or should I say our misleadership, oftentimes those three things can be said of them. They have eyes, but they do not see the poverty, the grinding poverty people go through. They have hearts, they don't feel for the masses. And in some cases, you would think they don't even think through the issues. Welcome on the News Review Belt. It's always brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They're offering you free prostate screening if you're a man, free fertility screening if you're a woman. Look, your health is your wealth. No long things. Reach out to them at any of their branches. Here in Accra, it's Pentex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi, you can locate them at Kronum Abwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrade Anadiji Estate, Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanso and Esiaman Zema. Their call lines 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Let me welcome aboard my own brother in everything good who ate the TZ without me. He thinks I've forgotten. Auntie what?
Auntie?
You're the one who gave you the TZ.
Oh, okay, Auntie Janet.
Auntie Janet.
Yeah, she's
you even remember her name.
Oh, why not? That's my.
You never shared that TZ with me.
That's my auntie.
I'm still upset.
She's
with
watching me all the way in Borga this morning. So.
Oh.
I said good morning to you, Auntie Janet.
Auntie Janet, a very good morning to you. We're grateful for the TZ that only one party got and I didn't get. I like TZ a lot, especially with a confirm. So.
And that was definitely what I took.
TZ.
Yeah.
Hey, young man.
Oh yeah.
Are you? I'm
serious. Next time I have to take you along. Monday I was in Tamale as well, but unfortunately because my auntie is not in Tamale, I couldn't get TZ with her confirm.
You were when you were with the vice president.
Exactly.
But you promised me a smoke.
Yeah.
Now you are promising me TZ with a confirm.
Oh no,
You've not delivered on the first promise.
No, they will come. They will come. Anyway. This is not a political promise. It's a brotherly promise.
This has become political. How many years now? But since you brought that up, I wanted us to talk briefly about the UG master student who has unfortunately lost his life on the back of the robbery. But that day, you spoke to the vice president. It was also almost as though, yes, you painted the picture and everything. Was he tired or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I realized the interactivity was a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, so he actually had a very, packed night because when he landed in Tamale, he had to move to Nalergo, which is about 3 hours drive from the airport. And then when he came back, he had to also come straight to the rally grounds, Jubilee Park, Tamale, to address the people. Sometimes how these political campaigns and rounds are always made. And once he's home, definitely you don't have the time to sleep. People will meet you throughout the night till the next morning. And that very day, even at his residence, people were there in their numbers just to say hello and hi to him because it's been a long time they have seen him. Others were also there to also put forth their problems. There's so many demands and all that. So I understand from that perspective that,
at the start of the interaction, it was almost as though he were waving you away. I felt that was a bit unnatural, a bit, I don't know. But and I would have left it there. But people also reached out and said, but
what happened?
It's looked rather odd. But anyway, you can always give the benefit of the doubt to them in such situations. It's grueling when they have to hit the campaign.
Actually, he actually called for, when I sought permission to have the live interaction on the bars, He was actually the one who said, "Oh, you can let them come around," but I was
But-
told that
but-
he wasn't feeling well. That's what I was told. You know, I even spoke with the chairman, Mr. Stephen Tim, but he too said he wasn't quite well, so he didn't want to speak. Maybe at the grounds to address the people, but for now, because they were on a journey, and because the road was also bumpy too, they rather wanted to reserve their comments and then, address the rally when they get to the locations.
Ah, well.
Yeah.
But there's also that issue of the University of Ghana students.
Yeah. I saw that.
Who unfortunately
Fresh Smith sharing it on our platform.
Lost his life.
I was really shocked about that particular incident and
attacked by robbers. And I don't know, I think there was some sort of scuffle, tussle between them. I always say, listen, your life is more precious than anything.
Exactly.
Your laptops, your phones, your money, nothing comes close to your life. Even if it's your thesis that you've written, hopefully you have it saved somewhere.
Yeah.
And in this instance, it's so sad. Very young man pursuing something, hoping to become something, and his life.
Personal security and having self-awareness about your security.
Exactly, self-awareness.
Important. Mostly, these are gadgets that you can purchase, no matter what is inside. Look, you don't know what's. Even if the person is not, you've not seen the person armed, holding any machete or any weapon.
Don't make assumptions.
Don't challenge. You don't know how prepared the person is, because you are just reacting to, an attack. You don't know how the person is prepared. So if the person appears before you and you know that this person is a criminal, the person wants something from you, just surrender and then give whatever the person wants. After all, there's still life ahead. You can buy that. But if you want to struggle, then that's you may have to bear the cost. And that's what has happened to this young man. But the university has issued a statement, and it's actually coming from the University of Ghana Business School. If there's time, I can just read excerpts from that. It said, unfortunate passing of our student, Mr. Dennis Chumesi Ankra. The management of UGBS has taken note of the sad and regrettable incident of the passing of our student, Mr. Dennis Chumesi Ankra. Dennis was a student in our Master's Procurement and Supply Chain weekend program. We extend our deepest condolence to his family and loved ones. We caution the public to desist from peddling unsubstantiated claims about the cause of his death. The police are still investigating the cause of his death, and we will update the general public upon receipt of the police report. So we are waiting for that report, but this statement is signed by one Emmanuel Poku Sarkodie, is a school administrator at the University of Ghana Business School there. So we hope that the police, they are able to track these criminals.
Per our sources, even in the university community, certain things have been said. But yes, we'll wait for the police to issue a statement. What we do know is that we've lost a life. One life too many. There used to be a lot of rampant, and that is my alma mater, so I'm not targeting the University of Ghana for anything. There used to be a time, especially around the hostels, where people would be attacked. A few people were even, at a point, sexually assaulted. And it's not just UG campus. KNUST has had its fair share. The different campuses have had their fair share. Sometimes it dips to the point where you forget that those things actually are they are still extant. And then this happens. Looking at the cost of education alone, these master's programs, I just got one out of one. I'm yet to graduate, but trust me, the cost alone.
It's a headache.
I feel so sad. I'm really sad.
But it shall be well.
And our condolences to his family and all that. Let's get into the papers. I have the Daily Graphic this morning. I have the Finder newspaper. What do you have?
I have the Daily Guide, Ghanaian Times, the Daily Statesman, and the Ghanaian Publisher.
All right, so let's start from your end.
All right, so Daily Guide, the big story. My running mate is a man, according to John Mahama. And then this story...
Okay, so does that lend credence to those who had been saying the fact that they were jettisoning Professor J. Nana?
So that is the analysis being done by the Daily Guide, because they are taking it from his own quotation during his tour of the Bono region. And this is what he said in his quote. He was speaking with NDC supporters in the Bono East region. He hinted that the individual who would be chosen as his running mate is a man. He further indicated that this man served in his government as a minister and discharged his duties diligently. The quote is, "Everyone knows him. He's humble and very resourceful. He served my government," Mahama hinted. Fifi Kwete also granted an interview to Kojo Yankson, an exclusive that we played yesterday. And then he said that they are looking for an energetic young person. So you realize that the communication directs that the possibility of dropping Nana is high. The last time I told you about this, that the information coming in indicates that they are looking for a fresh running mate to partner John Mahama. And I'm not surprised about the turnaround in the event. So that whole idea that Professor Nana has been jettisoned could be true.
There is some credibility to that.
Yeah, it could be true. So we are waiting for that news to drop. But he says he'll be naming his running mate soon. We don't know when, but he'll be doing that shortly. Your electricity tariffs have gone higher, have gone down by 1.52%. That's what has been reported on the front page of the Daily Guide.
And water has gone up.
Has seen a significant increase. But I think we will do some analysis on that.
But you know, electricity prices have cumulatively gone up by about almost 100% before coming down by less than 2%.
Exactly. Parliament opposes law on intestines import. You know Yamade. Do you like Yamade? Yeah, you like it?
I do.
I understand that.
But when we have the TZ, it usually goes with Yamade. We can question his. Am I lying?
Yeah, so
TZ goes with Yamade.
So Parliament is actually kicking against it. The NDC minority in Parliament has kicked against this particular instrument to restrict the importation of 22 selected strategic products, including guts, bladders, and stomachs of animals into the country. The other products are noodles and pasta, animal and vegetable oils, rice, poultry, margarine, fruit juices, soft drinks, mineral water, ceramics, corrugated paper and paperboard, paperboard, and mosquito coil and insecticide. On the issue about food, the meat, we can produce. Why do we have to import these stomachs, intestines?
I guess you also have to ask yourself why we import so much in terms of cattle, beef, and all of that from Burkina Faso, from Niger. It's all part of it, because if you are producing here, if you have the numbers, obviously with each animal you kill, all of these are in there.
Under the Nkrumah government, there was this meat factory in Zwarango, the Borga East District. Yeah. It's rotting away. I know, it's a fact that the machines may be obsolete and you have to upgrade them. It will take much money to pump into that. But you see, the main idea was that the northern parts of the country, specifically Upper East region, is closer to Burkina Faso. So what we need to do is that we just block the purchase of these cattle there, buy them, process them, bring it down to the southern part of the country, and then make it somehow cheaper. So we don't have to import these
that was the whole
directly
idea.
from Burkina Faso.
It was taking advantage of your marketing, or is it economics, has, you know, when your, there's something advantage, I've just forgotten. But that is it. Yeah. So up north, you have a lot more cattle. Yeah. Let's take advantage of that. Down south, maybe in certain areas, it is gold. It is, you know, the soil, you can plant there, cocoa. Let's take advantage of that. That was the multifaceted approach. We've departed from it, and so we're suffering.
Yeah, so that is a big challenge.
And there's also been talk about juice
and all that. But the Ekumfi juice and co are there. I wonder why we still have to import.
No, but Ekumfi juice does not have the capacity.
So what are we doing?
to take care of.
There's a watermelon factory in Northeast region that was brought by this government. I know some strides have been made. And I hope that we invest more in that.
Is that not the factory that the last time we checked was not?
Yeah, the reports, I understand there was even a press conference regarding that the NDC is raising concerns that it has not been operational and all.
Right. So because I remember there was a
that has been my challenge, that we wanted to construct some or establish factories within our localities to produce and then package what we have. Within our locations, but that is not happening. What is the level of commitment? Is it the case that we just come to promise governments upon governments, manifestos upon manifestos, and then nothing, the actuality is not happening? What are we taking ourselves for? What is the regulations, the components of the fruit juice that we import? Are these just natural or they are mixed with other chemicals? Because these are some of the things that we have to interrogate. We have the baobab. If you go up north there, they have the baobab fruits that the people...
There are so many things you can do.
So many things that you can do. So
practically every Sunday, there's this baobab juice.
Yeah.
They add the baobab tree, the fruit components, some vanilla and a few other things. All organic. And I patronize it. And those things are healthy. Yeah. They are very healthy.
Very, very healthy for you
and I. It's like, you remind me of dawa dawa as well.
very, very good for your blood level and then everything. I mean, I think they have some drinks like that. They use it out there and all that. So I think if we use a local fruit,
have you tried dawa dawa jollof before?
Oh yeah, I do. I actually have a sister who sells some at Adenta.
Dawa dawa jollof with I confirm is bay.
And that's actually what she sells. Maybe one of these weekends I have to take.
Oh, then we have to pay. Please, what's her name? So we start, approaching. All right, so let's get into other stories. All
right, so NDC sold Parliament, Clark's house. That's coming from Samuel Abujinapo, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Details are in page 3 of this paper. Otunfo Sheikh's Brekum, you know there's a funeral there, and he and his entourage are currently there to honor that funeral. So these are some of the big stories making headlines on the front page of the Daily Guide. And back page, Maguire accepts MP Adongo apology. That's my MP for Borga Central there. So that story is also on the back page of the Daily Guide.
Yeah, that is interesting. The way, that story has gone around. And even, pointers to Joy News. We're big like that.
Yeah.
We're big like that. But let's check out the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
So over 3,000 voluntarily returned home since 2017. That's coming from the immigration services. So the story says that more than 3,500 Ghanaians who left the country in search of greener pastures have been assisted to voluntarily return home since 2017. Data from the International Organization for Immigration, Ghana, has shown that. So of the figure, over 3,200 are males, with the rest comprising women and children, while the majority of the adults fall between the age range of 18 and 30 years. So we leave Ghana to say we are going outside the country to seek greener pastures. But that's the situation they found themselves. They have to come back. That means that we have a nation to build. You and I, we have a contribution. Look, if Benjamin gets up and says, oh, I'm tired of Ghana, I'm going to Liberia, I'm going to UK, I'm going to Canada, I also get up and say, I'm leaving the country. Who will build the country for you? Yeah. So we all have to come back, despite the challenges, face them head on, and then fight for the future of our children.
The other reality, it always reminds me of that nurse who here was earning 500-600, was not even securing a job, and that was even when he secured a job. He's in the UK, and he's earning the equivalent of about 50,000 cedis. Yes, some may say rent, but he gave us the breakdown.
Yeah.
He actually told us, this is what I spend on rent. This is what I spend on food. This goes into tax.
Yeah.
I am still far, far, far better off. You get it? So we have to balance the equation. We'll not get to where the UKs and the US and the Frances have got to overnight. But there must be some semblance of something. I always say, according to that plan, the NDPC has the blueprint.
Yeah.
We mean by 2057, when we're 100 years old, to have an economy that is worth $3 trillion. With what you see now, do we look like an economy that in some 34 years or so will be able to get to 3 trillion? So the writing must be on the wall.
Exactly.
When you see Rwanda, it's because the writing was on the wall that people felt committed. Rwandans from different, or Rwandese, depending on from different parts of the world started coming back home. But if you don't see that, then you ask yourself, I keep saying, my friends, accountants, doctors, pharmacists, all of these people go out there and they keep asking, look, Ben, with your skill set, why are you still in Ghana?
I took this advice from Professor Kofi Asare. He said, the best advice is to leave an example.
Right.
The best advice is to leave an example. So if you say you're a leader, you are committed to ensuring that the country is better, let us see that example from you, and the followers will also go in that direction. But if you tell us A and you are doing B, definitely, you and I may not take it serious. So let us set the examples for the followers to follow. And the followers, we have to also hold them accountable, regardless of our, political leanings and all that. We have to actually ensure that everything that we need for the country, all that we are advocating, should be on the nationalistic point of view, but not on individual interests and all that. Would you want to move to other papers, or can just run through this newspaper headlines? The Daily
just quickly with those headlines.
Talks about the Gonja overlord foreseeing Baumia as president. That's the home region of John Mahama, the Gonja Yagbonra. He actually gave him a title, a chieftaincy title of unity when he visited that area. Government commission first 50 agenda 111 hospital May 2024. GES launches sexual harassment policy for schools. We have to define, this issue about sexual harassment, how you are dealing with these school children and all that. And I think that's in the right direction for us to ensure a safe.
I spoke about it yesterday. I feel there's a lot going on and we are not tackling the problem head on.
Yeah. So be fair, firm, fearless, Baumia charges police. You know, there was the 52nd cadet passing out ceremony that was 2 days ago that the vice president attended. We have the picture of the IGP, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, and then the vice president on the front page of the Daily Statesman. Baumia key to Ghanaian success, Abuja Napoli declares government seeking external support for spillage communities. Chief is after the NP in the Northern NDP officer, and 2,000 steps after taking up on police.
All right, so let's get to the part of the paper. Right? 2024, religion for ethnicity pose, only as I wanted to say for National Commission for Strict Issues and Schools and Measures to tackle conversations about religion and ethnicity that nation democracy. So measures including political parties directly on working with opinion leaders and rulers to reach political actors in communities and localities, as well as to sensitize the citizenry to their rights and responsibilities. I always have said I am very inclined to religion, but I'm also very tolerant across the board.
You must be liberal.
It's always the way. It's the way I've always, I have been brought up. Ghana has a fine mix, but in recent times, especially, there's been a lot of here and there tussling and ethnicity.
Yeah,
ethnicity is a major problem.
Exactly.
We can't read beyond our political noses because of ethnicity in some instances. Yeah. And I totally agree with my friend Kathleen Addy that if we don't get these right, someday they could actually come back to bite us. I'll come back to you to react on that. Leveraging technology for development. KNUST must lead the way in Africa. Joe Anochi urges at Bafo Memorial Lectures. And then Constituency Watch, Ashaiman, huge area, bustling town, home of migrants. But again, even as we talk about all the good in Ashaiman, how about the crime rates and all of that? Yeah. Those are things we are also not getting right. Not good ahead of elections. I'll wrap with this story on page 23. Welcome to Takla. And it's a postcard from the Volta region. Now, there are many things that are said about the area, but one thing that stands out, no crime. Now, Takla is well kept with well-defined roads, trees at the various public squares, and the people, a legacy from the ancestors. Yeah. But the greater beauty in Takla is the absence of crime. No crime.
And you know why?
The gods, let me just bring you this. The gods of the land eschew all forms of crime. Yeah. And for that matter, anyone who comes to Takla with a motive to steal or indulge in other forms of crime will not find his way out of Takla. Yeah. The paramount chief of Takla said. Asked what happens to the criminals when they are caught, Togbe Ayim Ajokoto said, no comment. I guess the spirits.
When I saw that story, I was so fulfilled that if people are conditioned to think this way, that if you go to this town and still you'll not be able to go out or get out, or this is what the gods abhors, then it is in the right direction for society's growth. So imagine we extend it to governance. What will then happen? That if you come to government and you steal, this is what happens to you. Now, again, Professor Opoku Asare, in that interview that I produced, indicated that why is it that whenever we are swearing in a president or a politician, the person uses our colonial oaths and all those things. Why don't we use our own traditional ones and see what happens?
So that you swear by the gods and
you swear by the gods.
I mean, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, these are just moral guiding principles, and I think the people of Takla should be commended, and then tradition should be kept.
All right. Let me just acknowledge this. Raymond Abiu Abotre. Bibiba Abotre. I can see that our sound is not well, but you started with what the da-da-da is going on with your sound. We hope the sound has been restored. If not, please bear with us. The team will be working on the sound so you can watch us live on Facebook. Our apologies for that. Then there's the Finder newspaper. Ghana to get 5G wireless data communication soon. That's according to Joe Anochi. And LI seeking to ban importation of 22 products suspended. We've taken a look at that. Petrosol wins Brand of the Year at Ghana Energy Awards 2023. And the Lands and Natural Resources Minister says gold for oil procured 800,000 metric tons of petrol, diesel in 1 year. Now we're grappling with adulterated fuel in many instances. I also forgot it. So this was the final newspaper. Yeah. The Daily Graphic also has Joseph Boakai, the Liberian president, urging the president-elect,
are you shocked?
Urging unity.
Are you shocked that we have lost this election?
It's not incredibly surprising. I mean, it was always a writing on the wall. He won pretty comfortably the last time, some 5 years ago, on the back of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf stepping aside for her vice to try and take him on. But I believe Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's party had already become a bit unpopular. There were things that had not been done. George Weah came with youthfulness. Yeah. He offered something.
Did he exhibit that in governance?
I think in some ways, yes, but in other ways, he acted just like those before him, and he's been punished. And I think, here's the thing, I feel Weah could have done more in Liberia, and I just feel that when you're given the opportunity, I don't know the mindset of our politicians. I'm not a politician.
I'm really disappointed.
But I think if you get power, assume that you have only one term.
And
that is it.
Ben,
and do whatever you can.
Is there something that we those sitting and watching from outside don't know? That maybe if you assume such a position, maybe the thinking or there's a different spirit that comes into you, so you do things haphazardly.
Well, there are theories. Yeah. There are theories about that, politically speaking. But the point too is, yes, I do understand. Look at President Obama, the Obameter and things. There are things that you may think, oh, it is like this. When you get in, you realize that, okay, it's a different ballgame. Yeah. Those are there. But by and large, our African politicians, especially here, are not honest. They can't even come out when they fail and acknowledge, oh, my people. I feel that is one thing I can't understand about our politicians.
That's a challenge.
You know, I said I would do this. Yeah. Actually, I can't do it. I've realized that things are a lot more different. Please bear with me. I can only do about 30 to 40% of what I project.
Just be honest.
But let's work together to attain the 40% and hopefully... But no, they'll tell you everything is perfect. I did the 100%. And to add insult to injury like that makes no sense.
Yeah, they defend the inefficiency. They defend the corruption. They defend what should not be defended. And I think that we should be sincere and fair to ourselves, no matter who you are, whether an MP, a DC, an elected assembly member. Please, when you assume that position, don't see, excuse me to say, your followers as zombies. Because someone says that whenever a politician assumes office, he sees you and I, the citizens, as zombies. So they do what they want and all. And that's what has just played out in the case of George Weah. And I'm sorry for him, but I never expected that he would have lost this election. But because of complacency and over ambitiousness, that's what has happened.
Do you understand the tree proverb that says, "Okwasi enitia na groegu"? Do you understand it? Okwasi
yeah.
na groegu.
Before you realize.
When the fool gains wisdom or becomes smart or wise, then the game is over. It is game, set, and match. And you see, I just think there's a lack of honesty.
Yeah.
That is it, pure and simple, a lack of honesty. And that's why today, and this message just came in. Derek Awume says, what is more sickening is those who are to seek accountability are those who rather defend the rot of these politicians. Yeah. Me, I've said, look, people can go back. People have, and indeed, we have a short memory. When John Mahama was president, I remember the Kanazue. Do you remember? The Bekinabe businessman and the Ford Explorer, or was it Ford, whatever? The Guantanamo 3 or so. Yeah. Look, go on the economy. Go and look back to what some of us did and said. But yet today when you talk, people think, oh, why should you talk? And it is because that whole mentality of ethnicity, religion, as Kathleen Addy has mentioned, and that thinking that if I have spoken in your interest in the past, because I felt actually things were going wrong, now I can't speak against you. You are wrong. Me. I will speak. I will speak today. In fact, I spoke yesterday. I'll speak today. I'll speak tomorrow.
And mostly people misconstrue that. They think that you have personal issues with the person.
And if the other side also comes, the other day Dr. Rashid Pelpo was here. I was telling him in the face, if you guys also come and some of these very things you are criticizing, you do
definitely
you get a double dose of the bashing.
Unfortunately, they misconstrue it to be personal attacks on the personality of the person. They are not seeing that your criticisms is on the person's leadership style. You have to always yank the personality of the person and then the governance of the person. That way, you'll be able to understand it better. Me sitting here or Benjamin sitting here criticizes Akufo-Addo doesn't mean that I hate Akufo-Addo. It means that I want things to be right. I am not comfortable, perhaps, with his style of governance. If I criticize John Mahama as an opposition leader with his policies, it doesn't mean that I don't want him to come into office, but maybe I want him to be better. So if we understand things from this perspective, I don't think that some of these things...
And sometimes the ordinary people act as though we were not part of. You see, if the things go wrong, it doesn't just affect you there. Yeah. It affects me too.
Exactly.
I also go to the market.
Yeah.
I also go to wherever to buy the same things you are buying. I feel the pinch just as much as you do.
Yeah.
So we have to go now, but I'll just share with you, Ghana 4. Today, I want you to don't, if for anything, don't miss my blunt thoughts.
What is that?
I'm going to give you a break, a blow-by-blow analysis of this whole 24-hour thing. We've heard the former president, we've heard the vice president. Today, I'll situate the conversation and make you understand properly what this whole 24-hour system is and what it can be for us in Ghana, which is why I've titled today's blunt thoughts, Grinding Poverty in the Face of a 24-Hour Economy. Reading the room. A lot of the time, our politicians don't read.
But can I ask this question? 24-hour economy is not purely a business decision. That's a businessman I can decide to run 24 hours.
That's why you should watch me.
Okay.
Because I'll give the example of Sydney, London, Kenya, Singapore, among other countries. And then you'll see what the real dynamics are. Exactly.
Let's see how that will go. But I'd like to say a very good morning to my brothers in Bongo, the United Brothers Association. They are watching me live.
You, this guy. This segment always brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They're offering you free prostate screening, free female fertility screening. Reach out to them here in Accra. Spentex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi Chronomabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrady Anaji State Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanswa, and the Siamantima. Their call lines 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Bringing us to the end of the news review. Up next, sports with Mubarak Haruna. Do stay.